Hello class, so let us try to look at some triangle questions from the previous readings. So here in the first question, we have triangle angle A, B, and C are given. So, therefore we realize the sum of these three angles must be equal to 180. Then x plus 2x plus 2 plus 3x plus 4, now that should be equal to 180 degrees. Now that means when you combine them together, we end up getting 6x plus 6 must be equal to 180, where when you subtract 6x must be equal to 174 degrees. Now, then when you divide by 6 on each side, x will be equal to 29. Therefore, that becomes our answer, choice number 1. Alright, let us move on to number 2. In the triangle ABC, so I guess it would be great if you had to draw the picture. So here, since AB is congruent to BC, I have drawn the isosceles triangle, and B is the point that's common, so that I put them into vertex, and I put them, this is equal to A and C in this way, where these two sides are equal to each other. The altitude is drawn from B to AC. Now, I just use this line. Okay, and then we call that point B. Okay, not always true. Angle ABD, this angle must be equal to CBD, which is true because the altitude works like a angle bisector in an isosceles triangle. BDA, which is the right angle, we know that. BDC is also right angle, so therefore these are all okay. How about AD and then BD? AD and then BD. Clearly you can see that AD and BD is not quite the same. So therefore our answer will be choice number 3. Alright. So here we have AD is equal to 5 radical 2. And then AB is equal to 2 radical 15. And let's call this one as x. Then we get 5 radical 2. Notice that I put the parentheses squared plus x squared, which will be equal to 2 square root of 15, the whole thing squared in this way. Now, when you square them, you not only squaring the radicals, hence getting rid of the radical, but also 5 has to be squared to 2. And this becomes 5 squared times 2, because the radical and then the square root cancels out, plus x squared here becomes 2 squared times 15. Same idea, square and the square root will cancel out. So we end up having x squared must be equal to, here we get 60, and here we get 50, so subtracting 50. That means it's equal to 10 for x squared. So we know that x must be equal to square root of 10. Alright, so this was one of your choices. Number 4. So here we have the question is what technique can be used at these two triangles PST, which means this side triangle and then this side triangle can be similar. Similar, that means we have to find out two, maybe, pairs of the angles. That's one. Now, since PS is parallel to QR, that means these two can be an alternate interior angles. So therefore, they are also equal to each other. Yes, since they are parallel lines, we can also say that angle is equal to that angle, but any two out of these three angles would have been fine, hence the theorem AA would have satisfied this condition. Number 5. Now remember this picture because this will be a very popular picture. Now here we have this angle. Outer angle is always sum of two remote interior angles. So if you have to put them together, we have this angle is 6x plus 2. And then BAC, which is here, 3x plus 15. Now at the other angle, here we have 2x minus 1. So when you put them together, we have 3x plus 15 plus 2x minus 1 has to equal to 6x plus 2. Then when you combine them together, we get 5x plus 14 must be equal to 6x plus 2. Now here we have, if you had to subtract each side by 5x and subtract by 2, then we will realize that here we have 12, which is equal to x. And with it, find the value of x. Alright, now here, which statement is not true? You see, when in similar triangles, the size may be in particular ratio, such as 3/2, but the angles cannot be in that ratio. Angles has to be always congruent. That means it can be 1-to-1 ratio. That's perfectly fine, not the other way around. And area, just a comment here, is that area is always the square of the ratio of the length. Since it was 3/2, square them, you get 9/4. That would have been the ratio of the areas. Now here once again, S is common in both section here. Then we have isosceles triangle, and I will put S right in the middle. And then R and T can be on both sides. Now, RST is 46. Then find the angle SPR. Let me put that into X. Because these two sides are equal to each other, I can also call this side as X also. And we end up getting 46 plus 2X must be equal to 180. And by subtracting 46, we'll have 2X become 134. That's what we end up getting, and hence X equals 67. So that becomes our final answer. Alright, here we have AE is equal to 3, right here. But ED is equal to 6. And DC is equal to 15. Find the... so notice that these lines, whether it be 15 or whether it be X, both kinds are the full size of a triangle. On the other hand, 3 is, but not 6. 6 in fact has to be combined together with 3 to get the full size of the triangle. Now then, let's set up the ratio. So we have 3/9. Notice where we get the 9 from. It's equal to X over 15. Now when you cross multiply them, we get 9X, which will be equal to 45, hence X equals 5. And that's what we just found out. Alright, as soon as you see this triangle, we have to realize that there are 2-to-1 ratio, because medians trisect each other. So here, TB is equal to 9. That means this portion becomes 2x, and this portion got to be equal to x. And what is equal to TB? So we have 9 must be equal to 2x plus x. That means 3x is equal to 9, where x equals 3. Now, what we're looking for is TB, so TD, in fact, is equal to 2 times 3, which is equal to 6. That is our answer. Alright, so number 10 here, we have 2 angles. Angle A goes from 50 to 60, angle B goes from 90 to 100. And we want to find out the angle C. Angle C can have both cases, minimum and maximum. So in fact, when both the other 2 angles are minimum, such as 50 and 90, this is angle A and angle B, then we'll end up getting 140. That gives the room for angle C to be 40 to add up 180. On the other hand, if you have 60 and 100, then sum of those 2 angles becomes 160, therefore it only gives us the room for 20. So in fact, 20 to 40 becomes our answer. Alright, here we have angle side AB is congruent to DE, and angle A is congruent to angle D. Now angle B is congruent to angle E. We realize that angle side angle. Angle side angle. That becomes our final answer. Alright. So here we have three angles. So opposite of, so let's, if you have to just draw the picture. So let us say this is 95, this is 50, and 35. Now A, B, C. Then one thing that we get to realize here is that opposite of the biggest angle will be the longest side. So BC becomes the longest. And the opposite of second one, which is 50, that makes AC to be the second longest. That means we have AB out of the shortest. That becomes our answer. Alright, number 13. Once again, here we have similar picture as before. Medians, that means this is centroid. And where PF is X, that makes this one, the other one, to be 2X. Now, which equation can be used to find the value of X? Here we have then X plus 2X must be equal to 6. Alright, the next question here. Now here we have, this portion is what we're looking for. Then one thing that we get to realize, this is 6, 8, and the opposite side, the hypotenuse, would have been equal to 10. And then the relationship between 6x and 10 becomes 6 squared must be equal to x times 10. Which now we realize 36 must be equal to 10x. When you divide by 10, we get to realize x must be equal to 3.6. There it goes. That becomes our answer. Alright, let's look into this one. So we have angle CAB. CAB. That angle is congruent to CED, which is that angle. And obviously we realize that these two angles must be congruent by the vertex angle, a vertical angle. Then how will we know these two triangles are similar? By AA, by two sets of the angles that are congruent. Alright, so let us try to draw a triangle first. From in this picture, we get to extend that side. That means PQ of the triangle has been extended through Q. So therefore, we get to realize this must be Q. This is P. That makes this one to be R. And then to the point T. Now, then not true. So RQT. RQT is that angle, in fact, greater than angle R. Yeah, that is true because this angle is sum of the other two angles, so it's got to be greater than any one of them. Now, same argument, is that greater than P? Yes, it is. So first two are okay. How about the third one? RQT, this angle. In fact, this is an exterior angle. That means sum of two remote adjacent angle, non-adjacent angle. So that makes angle P and angle R, which is third one is still true. Not true? I guess it's gotta be this one because RQT, this doesn't have to be greater than PQR. As you can see in this case, that will not be true, so therefore, not always true will be choice number 4. That becomes our answer. Alright, so here we have to draw the picture. In triangle ABC, E is the point on AD. And then, such that DE is parallel to AC. DE. If DB is equal to 2, so let's divide this one. And then DA is equal to 7. DE is equal to 3. What is x? So once again, we have to realize that smaller side, the side from the smallest triangle has to be corresponding to the side of the big circle, which will be equal to 9, isn't it? So therefore, one thing that we get to realize is this: 9 to x, the whole side stuff, the other side would have been equal to 2 over 3. When you cross multiply, then you get to realize that 2x must be equal to 27, hence x must be equal to 13.5. Alright, let us continue to move. Perimeter of the triangle formed by connecting the midpoints. So if you have to connect the midpoints, you would have been somewhere around here. So when you connect them, perimeter, how do we find perimeter? If this side is 16, this must be equal to 8. By having half, 14 becomes 7, 10 becomes 5. So when you add up these three numbers, we'll end up getting perimeter will be equal to 20. Now here we see that two similar triangles, then one thing that we get to realize is angles are the same. So 4x plus 30 must be equal to 5x plus 10. And of course when you subtract 4x and then subtract 10, we end up getting x must be equal to 20. Alright, so this will be the last question from the part 1. I will be putting up the part 2 video soon. Now, here we have triangle ABC. In order for us to do that, I guess we have to have some sort of coordinate system here. -6. And then B becomes -3, become comma 6. C is 5, comma 0. And how are we going to find the perimeter? So here AB, you can use the distance formula or you can use the triangle method here. So we get to realize, oh, I'm sorry, B has to be a little bit 1 point higher. Okay. So then here we have this portion is 3, this portion is 4, so therefore we realize AB is equal to 5. How about the other side? 2, comma, AC must be 11 and then 2, so square root of 11 square plus 2 square, which should be equal to 5 square root of 5, since this one is equal to square root of 125. Right, so the last part, which is PC. PC here we have change of x basically is equal to 8 and then 6, so it becomes 10. Notice this is 6. that's equal to 8. So hypotenuse must be equal to 10. So when you combine them together, we get 15 plus 5 square root of 5. And that is the final answer. It doesn't simplify any further. Alright, let us continue.